comes to talk. Welcome so much for your time here. I do appreciate it. And if you're new, subscribe. Okay. I want to get into Fredo here, Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo is one of the big Trump haters. He's been a nut. He used to be on CNN. And he just laid out something that these other liberals just can't get themselves to say. And I'm going to play it for you, what he said about Trump in this second assassination attempt. But I want you guys to understand, I mean, and I know I'm not alone in thinking this, okay? But Donald Trump is without question the bravest man alive. 2 months ago, he got shot. On Sunday, he went to play golf with some friends, and another leftist tried to shoot him with an AK-47. This is crazy. And he's still running. He's still doing this for us and for the country. And that is just amazing. That's amazing. He doesn't need this. You know, how many people out there could go through what he's going through and continue to stand up against this? They've shot him. They tried to shoot him on Sunday. They've arrested him. They got a mugshot. They broke into his house. They broke into his safe. They went through his desk and threw his personal items on the floor and took pictures. They went through his wife's underwear drawer. They went through his wife's closet. They tossed his son Barron's room. They have him convicted on all these fake charges. They have all these absurd civil cases against him, and still he's running. Who could do that? Who could do that? And no one that I know of thinks that he is properly protected. So, I mean, because of what has happened, right? And you watch the media. First off, you can tell how pissed off the media are about this whole thing. One, they're pissed off he hasn't been run out of the race. They're pissed off that he's alive, that he survived the first shooting and survived the second assassination attempt. They're pissed off that he's even more sympathetic, and more people have been red-pilled and joined the MAGA movement because they finally have woken up to what these people are doing. So I'm going to start with Chris Cuomo here, who, Chris Cuomo's crazy, but he's gotten his senses, a little bit at least, when it comes to President Trump in the current situation. And I got a lot of other information, including the latest polls. And spoiler alert, the polls show Trump winning big in a landslide against Willie Brown's girlfriend, Camala Harris. But I'll get into the details of it, and we'll break them down later. But let's first start with Chris Cuomo. This is on his show on News Nation.
And you can think what you want about Trump. He does not have many more full-throated critics of what he says and does than me. Okay? And yet I called him today because I am ashamed of how we are responding and not responding to the threats on him. And I feel for his family. And I know you can roll your eyes and say, oh yeah, he asked for it. Listen.
I mean, what he said, what Chris Cuomo is talking to his media colleagues, these left-wing Trump haters like Dana Bash and Whoopi Goldberg and Joyless Reed and Rachel Maddow and all the rest, and that's who he's talking to here. And you go, oh, he deserved it. He brought it on himself. That's sick thinking. You blame the victim? These liberals, one of the things that the women's rights movement was all about, women would be raped, and people would blame them for getting raped. Well, look how she's dressed. Look at that dress she was. She shouldn't be out dressed like that. She brought it on herself. That's the way things used to be. Guy gets shot. Another guy tries to shoot him on Sunday, and they blame him? All right, back to Chris Cuomo. I rewinded just a hair.
And I feel for his family. And I know you can roll your eyes and say, oh yeah, he asked for it. Listen, that's your choice, and I think it's a wrong choice.
Sure is.
We got to get out of the judgment business unless it's judging ourselves. And you got to start rewarding things that are better. And I got to tell you, I don't know how he stays in the race. I don't know how he got up after being shot in the head. And you people who try to mitigate that, you need to check yourself. He gets up, pumping his fist, stays in the race, barely even talks about it. Now look, I do believe he has wasted opportunities, and he has another one now. Who better than Trump to say, we can do better? I can do better. I know he keeps doubling down on his angry rhetoric. How can he not? It keeps working for him. I don't know that it gets him elected. My theory is that he needs to expand. He had a chance to do it after he was the target of an assassination at the RNC. He had a chance to say, I know what got me here. It's not going to get me where I want us to be. He did not take that chance. He now has another chance. Oh, you're supporting Trump. I'm supporting us. The idea that I am a Trump supporter is laughable to the man on your screen.
Okay, this is amazing because, this is Chris Cuomo's message to the media, right? And what Chris Cuomo is saying, he's saying the quiet part out loud, right? The media, you see it in their face. You see it in their inflections. You see it in their annoyance. But what Chris Cuomo is saying to the media is stop wishing a man dead because you disagree with him politically, you sickos. That's exactly what he's saying.
Right now. That is not what this is. I am worried about us. I am ashamed of what's happening around us right now and the relative lack of concern about it. I just don't see how we get anywhere better than where we are right now. Look, I'm not blaming Democrats. I'm really not. I blame the guy. And whatever disease he has that the people around him either knew about and did nothing about. The guy was arrested 20 years ago for barricading himself in a room with all these weapons. Where are we caring about one another? Where are we taking care of our own? Where are we pushing to get help? We're leaving people languishing, dying on the streets. What is going on with us? I don't get it. That's why I reached out to Trump. I wanted to just say, listen, I'm really sorry that this is going on and it's being dealt with this way. Not because I'm in favor of his politics or what he says. I criticize him all the time. That's my job, and he deserves it.
Yeah, this is Chris Cuomo, Fredo.
But he doesn't deserve this. A guy pointing an AK-47 at him while he's playing golf? And we take solace in the fact that the guy didn't get any rounds off. That does not work for me. If I had been through what that guy's been through in the last 2 months, you would not know where I am. You would never see me on TV again. No way I would do that. I don't know how he does it. He's got kids, they're adults, but he's got grandkids. He's got a wife. People giving crap to...
He said shit. He's on TV. He forgot. Well, he's on cable. He could say it.
That. I don't know how he does it. He's got kids, they're adults, but he's got grandkids. He's got a wife. People giving crap to Melania Trump, worrying about whether or not there was a plot around his husband. How could she not? I don't think she's right, but I totally get why she feels that way, and people mock her. And then her husband has a guy pointed with an AK-47. Where are those people apologizing? That's what it's time for. I should not have come at you, Melania Trump, for suggesting that maybe there was something more afoot. I get your paranoia. I get your feelings. You have a right to that. There's nothing wrong with saying that, with being a basic, decent human being. It has gotten too out of control, too far from where we need to be and how we need to be. And I don't know what to do about it. I don't know.
Okay.
And you can think what you want about...
Now, that is absolutely amazing. You know, for Chris Cuomo Fredo to come out and talk that way is a big freaking deal, right? Big, hardcore Democrat, one of the biggest Trump critics ever. And for him to come out and reprimand the media, because that's who he was talking to, is huge. I saw someone in the chat, crash effort, I will never trust it. No one's asking you to trust Chris Cuomo, but he's talking to his media colleagues. He's talking to Rachel Maddow, Joy Reid. He's talking to The View, right? He's talking to Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski and all these others. Get over yourself. A man should not be dead because you disagree with him. And you owe an apology to him and his family and the country and to your viewers for being so sick and twisted. And the reason that they're so angry is varied. I mean, a lot of it really started with their anger towards, I'm talking about the media, because that's what Chris Cuomo there is talking. I never thought I would ever be agreeing with Chris Cuomo. It's amazing, isn't it? This all really started with the media. I'm not talking about everybody else and the politicians. The media, it's because they lost the juice. They used to have influence. The media used to be able to choose who the nominees were, and they lost. It was supposed to be Hillary versus Jeb. And I remember they were saying, oh, it's going to be Clinton versus Bush again. They were all excited, you know. And that's what it was supposed to be. And then something happened. The American people rallied behind Trump, and before they took him serious, he got the nomination. And if you remember, they were talking about a broker convention and everything. And the media, they have zero influence. In fact, they have negative influence. They have counter influence. Like if the media say turn right, everybody else in this country says turn left. We don't trust you. Screw you. They've lost their influence, and that's something that they are obsessed with because it's power, and they no longer have power. And it's a beautiful thing. Like, let me give you an example. This is a CBS report. They went into a diner in Nevada to talk about the election, and they're trying to find some Camala Harris supporters. Listen.
Join you? Leanne and Stephen Schaefer were first to arrive and say they can't wait to vote.
I want someone who's strong, who demands respect, and who gets the respect, and who can deal with foreign leaders. I think Trump's the guy.
There's so much going on throughout the world, in this country as well. But do you remain hopeful about America?
I tell you, I've never owned a gun in my life, and I own 4 of them now.
Really?
Yes. I fear for our country.
Wow. CBS goes into a diner, they can't find a Democrat in Nevada. And this guy here, he didn't own a gun, now he owns 4. I hope he's got proper training, because a lot of times when guys are, older and they buy their first gun, they buy the biggest and prettiest one as opposed to one that they can operate. I hope he's okay. But probably because he's in the Southwest and there's an invasion of our country going on, and he wants to be able to protect himself and his wife sitting next to him in the diner. CBS goes into a diner, they can't find a single Democrat. That's not the way it used to be. They didn't go in the diner to find Republicans. They went into the diner to find people trashing Trump. They wanted to find Democrats. They wanted to find Trump derangement syndrome rhinos who, I've been a Republican all my life, and now I got to vote for the Democrat because I can't take this anymore. But that's not what's happened. And that's one of the many reasons they hate him. The thing about the media business, one thing about the news, they don't report the news, they cover up the news, probably always been that way, and they try to craft narratives to con people into believing. And they can't do that anymore. They can't do it for a lot of reasons, not just generically the internet. When Elon Musk bought Twitter and turned it into X, that was it for the mainstream media. It was over for the mainstream media after that. All these things that have been coming out about the golf course assassin, all these things about Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. If the old leftists from 4 years ago were running Twitter, all that would be silenced. It wouldn't be allowed, just like they blocked the laptops. So the media, if you remember, in 2016 and 2020, the mainstream media used Twitter to get narratives going. They were like a tag team. They would have a tweet, they would make a story about it. Somebody would tweet, they'd have a story about it. There'd be a story people would tweet about it. They'd report it. Now they've lost that. That's it. And they can't get over it. And these Democrats, their Trump derangement, their hatred of Trump is so deep in their bones that they can't even hide the fact that they're not upset at the assassin. Right? Yeah. And here we are now. It happened Sunday at 1:30, and now we had Monday, now it's Tuesday. So we're 2 full days after this assassination attempt. We know nothing. We know a lot. We know that there's the BlackRock connection because both Trump assassins are in BlackRock commercials. We know that. But when I say we know nothing, this guy was here in South Florida, in Palm Beach. Where was he staying? Was he living in that car? Was he staying in a hotel, a motel, someone's house, someone's apartment? We don't know. How did he doesn't have any money. He's broke. How was he supporting himself? He was in the bushes at 1:59 a.m., waited for Trump. He left at 1:30 when the shots went off. How did he know Trump was going to be there? How did he know where in the bushes to hide and set up so he was in the best position when Trump came to the hole? How did he know all this stuff? How did he even know he was going to be there Sunday playing golf in the morning? There's a million other questions. The media aren't asking those questions. They're just pissed off. They're just pissed off because Trump's winning. As an example, listen, this is Hillary Clinton. Oh, man. Could you imagine if Hillary Clinton would have become president? If it would have been, if Trump did not come down the escalator and it was Clinton versus Jeb, Hillary would have beat the turtle Jeb. She's an evil, 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 evil person. Listen.
Just as Mueller indicted a lot of Russians who were engaged in direct election interference and boosting Trump back in 2016. But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrence because...
Okay. Hillary Clinton, who was almost president, she was almost president. She can't get over the fact that she got whooped, so she's always got to talk about other things. She wants to jail people that post things online that she doesn't agree with. She wants to charge them criminally. She wants to have gulags filled with people because they have a mean tweet or a tweet that Mrs. Clinton doesn't like. This was on the Rachel Maddow show. And to her and Rachel Maddow, that sounds all right because Trump's Hitler. This assassin at the golf course, you've seen the video when they arrested this lunatic, right? And, hold on one second. Hold on, let me just cue this up. Okay. When he was sitting in that police car, after they arrested him, and he looked over at the camera, we saw, that's probably from the police body cam. Did he look like he was upset? They say he's crazy. He thinks he is a hero of history because this guy, like many other Democrats in this country, have been brainwashed and conditioned into thinking that Donald Trump is Adolf Hitler. And there were many assassination attempts against Adolf Hitler. The most famous one's that Valkyrie one. They made the movie with Tom Cruise. This and those guys, they executed a bunch of them because Hitler was still in power and they failed. But they're looked upon in history as heroes because, hey, they tried to kill Hitler. That's how that guy looked in that police car. He looked like he thinks he is a hero of history who's going to be remembered as a great man. He is a sicko who's been conditioned by Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid and Hillary Clinton and Dana Bash and Morning Joe and all the rest have been conditioning these people to think about these weird ways about President Trump. Okay, now here's the Coven of the View.
And also, let's stop this thing. Let's stop this both sides stuff.
It's a bunch,
because it's not correct.
Oh, it's not correct. We can't have two sides. We must have groupthink. This both sides, two sides things. That's a no. It's our way. Or you're a racist, or you're a homophobe, or you're this, or you're that. This is not new with the left. This is how the left have always thought. Okay? The only difference is they're just out of the closet with it now, and they're too caught up in their Trump derangement syndrome to understand what it is that they're saying. Now, by the way, if you're new to my channel, my name is Brian. This channel here is where MAGA comes to talk. So if you're new, subscribe. You'll love my content. I promise you. I live stream every day, and in the mornings I live stream from 6 to 9 a.m. I'm on the radio then, and I take live calls from people watching here on YouTube, listening to me on the radio, and elsewhere. And you'll love the show. So make sure you subscribe. If you were new, you'll be glad you did. All right. So I have the latest polls, and there's more than one. It's not just one. And of course, the polls are all in Trump's favor. The first one here, this is the Real Clear Politics Electoral College average. Okay. And if you note the trend in all these polls, Trump's winning in all of them, with a few variations of how much, but there's none of the new polls, of the credible polls in the Electoral College, show anything other than Trump winning. So this is the Real Clear Politics Electoral College average. They say Trump is going to win Pennsylvania. They're giving the Electoral College victory to Trump with 281 votes to Kamala's 257. That's Real Clear Politics. And they got a bunch of old fake polls that are making that even a little too blue. And this is before the golf course assassin. So Real Clear Politics, you notice a big shift because their polling has been showing Kamala for a while, and now, boom, it is in Trump's favor. Remember, you only need 270 in the Electoral College to win the presidency. Real Clear Politics giving Trump 281 to Kamala's 257. Let's see. This is the Trafalgar Group and Insider Advantage battleground states. They are giving Trump the Electoral College victory with 296 Electoral College votes to Kamala's 242. So that's the Trafalgar Group. That's a big one. That is a big one, people. Yeah, so 296. Notice the trend. All in Trump's favor. All in Trump's favor. And, of course, Nate Silver, who they've been telling us forever is the gold standard. They don't talk about Nate Silver anymore because they don't like his results. Nate Silver is actually giving Michigan to Donald Trump, and Nate Silver's Electoral College model not only is predicting a Trump Electoral College victory, it's the biggest of all with let's see here, 312 Electoral College votes. Remember, you need 270 to win. Nate Silver giving Trump 312 Electoral College votes and Kamala 226. And he's actually he got Maine, so we get Maine early because it's on the East Coast, and given Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, North Carolina, South Carolina to Trump, Georgia to Trump. So we've got a lot of East Coast or Eastern time zone states that these polls are giving to President Trump. So we're gonna, if these hold, and they'll go more in Trump's favor as we get closer. We're going to get some really good early results on election night. And remember, coming up soon, J.D. Vance and his debate with Tim Walz, who's a complete freaking stolen valor lunatic. And he's going to get his clock cleaned by J.D. Vance. Okay, that's right. The odds of Trump winning, according to Nate Silver's model, 56.2% chance that Donald Trump will win the election. Kamala, a 43.6% chance, giving Trump a 12.6% advantage against Kamala. The odds are in his favor. Nate Silver says, and okay, we got some swing states here from Nate Silver. These are the odds that Trump will win these swing states according to Nate Silver's latest predictions. Arizona, Trump has a 73.8% chance of winning Arizona, according to Nate Silver. Nate Silver says that Trump has a 67.9% chance to win the state of Georgia. Nate Silver says that Trump has a 66.9% chance of winning the state of North Carolina. Nate Silver says that Trump has a 61.8% chance of winning Pennsylvania, a 54.8% chance of winning Nevada. Now, the last two are the closest, but still Trump winning. Nate Silver predicts that Trump will win Michigan with a 51.4% chance of winning Michigan, and then a 51% chance that Trump will win Wisconsin. So, Nate Silver, every prediction that he has shows Trump winning. And all the new polls, Rasmussen and others, Trump winning. William Livingston, $5 super chat, thank you. Hillary isn't evil, you'll just come up missing. Yeah, that's quite possible. William, thanks for that super chat. Oh, yeah, these are great numbers, aren't they? Oh, man, absolutely amazing. Doesn't get better than this. Now, this has been a very bad week for CNN. They've been getting their clocks clean. Kate Baldwin, who just always looks miserable. She's always got this look on her face. She always looks like she's got hemorrhoids or something. But she had Byron Donalds on. Did you guys see this? And Byron Donalds, MAGA Byron Donalds, just won this one. Listen.
All right, joining us right now is Republican Congressman from Florida, Trump campaign surrogate Byron Donalds. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Bouncing off the conversation that Harry and Sarah were just having, how undecided do you think the diminishing number of undecided voters really are this election at this point?
I believe they're somewhat undecided. I think they're juggling through the realities of America. Number one, the economy, this massive inflation created by Camala Harris and Joe Biden. The immigration problems in our country are real. They're looking at that. But then I also do believe they're having to juggle with also a lot of the rhetoric that's out there in terms of where the country's going and who's going to protect the country. And I think if you look at the facts are very clear that Donald Trump addresses the issues that concerns Americans, the economy, our borders, and our foreign policy. And what Vice President Harris is talking about is not those issues. She's talking about wanting to look forward, or unfortunately, there's still a lot of negative rhetoric coming from her campaign, basically saying, her and her surrogates, that Donald Trump is some threat to democracy, which is a flat out lie. And that lie can be proven to be a lie because he was already president of the United States. The country was thriving when he was president of the United States, and there were no new wars when he was president of the United States.
Okay, so this and so far, this issue of safety. There's a border invasion going on. Americans are dying every day, whether it's car accidents, fentanyl, or just being raped and murdered by Kamala's dreamers. And they're talking about hateful rhetoric from Donald Trump. Donald Trump's the one getting shot, and they got a guy pointing an AK-47 at him. But he's the one with the hateful rhetoric. Have you noticed, by the way, here it is Tuesday, have you noticed that the mainstream media have dropped this Haitian stuff in Springfield, Ohio? What does that tell you? You know what it tells me? It tells me that the media found out that all these stories about the illegal Haitians in Springfield, Ohio is true. It's true. And they're trying to drop the story because it's true. All right, so let's get back to this. This is Baldwin with the great Byron Donalds on CNN today.
In terms of rhetoric, do you think Donald Trump, in the Trump campaign, do you think they have a problem with rhetoric as well?
The Trump campaign have a problem with rhetoric? He got shot. There was a guy pointing an AK-47 at him on Sunday. How does he have trouble with rhetoric?
No, and I don't. I think especially in light of the fact that there has now been a second assassination attempt on the life of President Trump, I do not believe so. What we are seeing now is that you do have radical elements of the Democrat Party, people who have been radicalized by the hateful rhetoric from Democrat officials, talking about how he's a threat to democracy, but that's simply not true. talking about how he wants to bring in Project 2025. We know that is not true. That is a lie. Donald Trump has distanced himself from that. The Heritage Foundation has said he has nothing to do with it, but they say these things anyway. What Donald Trump has been talking about is we're going to fix our borders. We're going to have a great economy again. We're going to get out of these conflicts. We're going to make America great again. That is his rhetoric. So I think if you compare the nastiness from Kamala Harris's campaign and from the Democrat Party compared to what we've been talking about really for the last 9 years, but specifically the last year and a half in this campaign, no, I do not agree that it is the same rhetoric. There's no moral equivalency in the rhetoric between these two campaigns.
Yeah, exactly. Trump's the one get you. This is what Chris Cuomo was talking about. These people in the mainstream media, like this idiot Kate Baldwin on CNN, they are so sick, twisted, and demented. Their minds are so far gone with Trump derangement syndrome. Trump gets shot. Guy's got an AK-47 who's obviously in collusion with someone in Trump's circle that's giving out information on where he's traveling to. But Trump's the one that's got the violent rhetoric. Now, before we continue with this, the sponsor of the video, of course, today is MyPillow. Mike Lindell and MyPillow have been a strong supporter and sponsor of my content for many, many years. And the biggest deal ever is going on right now at MyPillow.com with my promo code Kane at checkout. Now, this deal is not available to everyone at the MyPillow website. You have to go to my personal MyPillow website, which I pinned to the top of the live chat, and it's also in the description of the video. It's mypillow.com/Kane, Kane. And the blowout sale on the MyPillow that started it all, this is the biggest discount ever on the MyPillow. The blowout sale is going on. You can get the MyPillow during this blowout sale for just $14.98. Incredible deal. Just $14.98 with my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. This is a $35 discount. Huge deal. You can buy just one if you want, but you can buy as many as 10. Just $14.98, a $35 discount with my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. Just click the link pinned to the top of the chat. It's also in the description of the video, mypillow.com/Kane. And remember, you can use my promo code on all the specials there. And when you buy anything at mypillow.com, you're not just supporting Mike Lindell, the great MAGA Mike Lindell and MyPillow, you're supporting all of my content. So thank you very much. All right, so back to Byron Donalds kicking butt on CNN here.
I think any serious person would also say, Congressman, that Donald Trump is a source of heated and dangerous rhetoric over months and years. I mean, even Republicans who support him and are voting for him this election have basically begged him to tone it down.
Tone it down. He got shot. A guy was pointing an AK-47 at him 2 days ago. Trump's the one that's got to tone things down?
So if Republicans who even support you say that you've got a problem, you need to tone it down, you've got a mayor in Springfield, Ohio saying you guys need to tone it down because we now have bomb threats on schools in our area. There's a problem also, in the general rhetoric of the campaign that the term that is often criticized, but that if you want to say both sides should address. But right, logically?
Right, logically. See, this is what Chris Cuomo was talking about. This is Kate Baldwin on CNN. She's justifying these assassination attempts. She's blaming Trump for these assassination attempts, which means she's also blaming Trump for the MAGA man, the firefighter who was killed in Pennsylvania, and the other two that were shot. No blame, by the way, put on these Democrat shooters. It's Trump's fault, is what she's saying.
Well, actually, let's dig into this a little bit more. And thank you for bringing this up.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, we've heard from the Springfield mayor, and nobody wants bomb threats or anything like that. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have been talking about reports coming out of Springfield. J.D. Vance represents the state of Ohio. He's talking about things that his constituents have brought to him. But let's compare that to the fact that Kamala Harris in a debate last week, she lied about Donald Trump's bloodbath comments. Why did she say that? Because she wants to invoke a negative energy around the campaign of Donald Trump, frankly, to affect these undecided voters that we talked about at the top.
There could be a lot of fact. I mean, Congressman, you and I have gone back and forth a lot about fact checking that can happen.
Kate, Can you acknowledge that Kamala Harris lied about the Charlottesville comments? Again, something that even Snopes has debunked and said is fake news, that it is wrong, that his statements were taken out of context. Those are the direct lies coming from Kamala Harris.
That's right.
So if you're going to talk about the invective put into this campaign that Kamala Harris and her campaign has done, trying to invoke a negative response from voters in our country, versus Donald Trump talking about issues, whether it be in a city or, quite frankly, you could bring up Aurora, Colorado, or you could bring up Denver, Colorado, that have been overrun by illegal immigrants.
There are
in our
lots of things
country.
can be brought
You
up,
can't
which is
compare
also, if
the
you're
two.
talking about lies and you're talking about comparisons, you can talk about a long list of lies. We could walk through it. I don't think it is to the benefit of voters right now for me to walk through to remind them of the lies that Donald Trump has told in the past.
Don't talk about Kamala's lies. Come on. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. CNN, they were destroyed by Byron Donalds. Isn't he great? And I'm so happy. Byron Donalds, he's a Florida congressman. He's not my congressman here in Florida. I got a Democrat. That's my voice in Congress. But I wish he was. Him or Matt Gaetz. I would take either of them. Wouldn't you? Aren't they great? Oh my goodness. And you could see it in Kate Baldwin's face. She's just devastated that they're losing so badly. I mean, they're just getting destroyed. They're getting destroyed. And, those polls I went through, it's hopeless for Camala Harris. I mean, she's just clueless. That interview she did on local news on Friday, did you guys see that? Oh, I did a whole stream on Saturday going through that interview. When you see Camala Harris without a script, and those were softball questions. She couldn't even answer. She couldn't even describe her own economic policy. So Camala did a podcast interview with someone I've never heard of, Chiquita Baby. I never heard of Chiquita Baby. Stephanie Chiquita Baby. Himonitis. I don't know what that. I don't know. But she called Kamala Harris Madam President. Listen. Oh, hold on. I got to cue it up.
Madam President, we know that you...
Madam President. She's Madam Vice President.
Madam President, we know that you said that you are thankful that Mr. Donald Trump is okay after the second apparent assassination attempt. What are your thoughts on political violence in the U.S. and more now than ever?
Well, I was briefed immediately after it happened yesterday, and I have to tell you, political violence of any kind is unacceptable, and I strongly condemn it. And like all Americans, I'm grateful that he is.
Did you hear Kamala? She hit the buttons on the phone. So she's got the phone. You can hear that. She hit the button. She hit the phone. So what is she doing that she's not holding the phone? She's got the phone like this, and she hit the buttons. What do you think she's doing with her hands? What do you guys think?
Condemn it. And like all Americans, I'm...
See, did you hear it? What is Kamala doing with her hands that she's got the phone like this during this interview? What do you think?
And like all Americans, I'm grateful that he is okay, but we all have to stand up and say...
I'm grateful that he's okay. Boy, that sounds passionate, doesn't it? Holding a drink? Yeah, maybe.
It's okay, but we all have to stand up and say enough of this kind of approach. We have to have civil dialogue and discourse. We have to be able to talk through our differences. And
I think she's in the bathroom. That's what I think. Because you hear the echo? I think she's in the bathroom. She's too old to be using one of Tim's tampons, but she's in the bathroom. Let me rewind it a little bit.
Only condemn it.
You can hear the echo?
And like all Americans, I'm grateful that he is okay, but we all have to stand up and say enough of this kind of approach. We have to have civil dialogue and discourse. We have to be able to talk through our differences, and violence has no place.
And more than now, we don't want division.
Yeah, well, tell your Democrats to stop shooting Trump, Kamala, okay? Oh, my goodness. I think the bathroom. Exactly. Where else? You can hear it with the echo. It's definitely where she's at. Yeah. She can stay in the bathroom. Exactly. By the way, if you're new to my channel, my name's Brian. and you'll love my content. So make sure you subscribe. And everyone who's already subbed, if you could do me the favor of liking the video, I'd appreciate that. So the Coven of the View today sat down, and they're talking about J.D. Vance, the great J.D. Vance, who will be the second MAGA president when he's nominated and elected 4 years from now.
Just so deep. It's so deep. So now we're going to talk about some idiotic stuff. Okay? Because the motive behind the gunman arrested in an apparent assassination attempt against the former president is still under investigation. But
it's still under investigation. The motive of the golf course assassin is the same motive as the Pennsylvania assassin. Trump's winning. That's the motivation. And, you know, they don't know the motivation. If Trump was not winning, if he lost a debate and was behind in the polls, would this have happened? And the first assassination attempt happened after the Biden debate. They get creamed in the debates. They get creamed in the polls that come out after the debates. And then there's an assassination attempt. I'm so glad he's not debating anymore. No more debates, Trump. They get very upset when you beat their candidates in the debate and get bumps in the polls after the debates. That's the motive. And you notice with all the news today, they're talking about everything other than the big story is that the two assassins have been connected now. Both of them in those Black Rock videos. The odds of them both being in Black Rock videos being just a random event is 0. Less than 0. It's impossible. It's impossible. Major connection. You know, I was talking to Steve this morning on the morning show, and I was telling him, I said, you know, we never all these years, right? It's been how long ago was the Kennedy? 62 years, right? 61 years since the Kennedy assassination. You know, we don't have a connection with Oswald like we have with these two assassins. All the movies, the investigations, the research into Oswald, we don't have a connection as solid as these two, both in those Black Rock videos. And no one in the media is reporting it. Now, my governor here, Ron DeSantis, he's trying to get back in the good graces of MAGA, and he is launching, he wants to take over the charging and the investigation into the golf course assassin here in Florida.
Today, I'm signing an executive order assigning the case involving the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump to the Office of Statewide Prosecutor under the supervision of Attorney General Ashley Moody. The suspect, Ryan Ralph, is believed to have committed state law violations across multiple judicial circuits in the state. Palm Beach Judicial Circuit, the Judicial Circuit including Martin County, as well as perhaps the Judicial Circuit represented by Broward County. Also, the state of Florida has jurisdiction over the most serious, straightforward offense, which is attempted murder. I've directed state agencies to move expeditiously and to provide full transparency to the public. In my judgment, it's not in the best interest of our state or our nation to have the same federal agencies that are seeking to prosecute Donald Trump leading this investigation, especially when the most serious, straightforward offense constitutes a violation of state law, but not federal law. In addition to holding the suspect accountable, the public deserves to know the truth about how this assassination came to be. And I've directed all state agencies to work expeditiously to be able to uncover the truth in addition to holding this suspect accountable.
Okay. Now, DeSantis is obviously trying to get back in the MAGA fold here. And, you know, I can't trust this guy. We can never trust this guy. But his investigation that he's ordered here might give us some information because, I mean, you look at who's in charge of the golf course assassins investigation right now, right? The federal prosecutor is a Haitian American who was born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Come on. How many Haitian American federal prosecutors born in Port-au-Prince are around to prosecute this case? That's just random after everything going on in Ohio with the illegal Haitians. The FBI is the lead agency in charge of the investigation, and it's the Miami field office of the FBI. Those are the ones that broke into Mar-a-Lago, right? And that Secret Service director, he's the one that denied increased security when he was still the deputy director of the Secret Service. He hates Trump. In fact, in the press conference yesterday, he repeatedly blamed Trump by saying, oh, well, this was a last-minute thing, so there wasn't time to do the proper security sweep. That's who's in charge of the investigation, right now. So, no, I will welcome this snake, Ron DeSantis. He wants to suck up to MAGA. So let's let him do his investigation. And maybe we'll find something out, because we're not going to find much out from the people that are running it right now. Oh my goodness. Okay, I've got a long. Let me see here if I can have another version of this. Let me see. Okay, yeah, this is a longer version of that CBS story in the Nevada diner.
What issue is most important to you?
She's talking to a table of women in this diner, the CBS reporter.
What issue is most important to you?
I'm extremely concerned about the border. Illegals, they gotta go.
People are coming here seeking asylum.
Baloney. They're coming here for the freebies. When people talk about immigration, they're thinking we're saying we don't want immigrants of any kind, and that's not what people are saying. People are saying that there are people who have come here legally. Why do they get pushed aside?
Somebody had asked how long I've served in the military. Here's my answer. I served in the military for the same amount of time as President Clinton, President Obama, and President Biden. Does that answer your question? Yes. Okay. Figure it out.
Yeah. People are saying that there are people who have come here legally. Why do they get pushed aside to allow...
This is a black woman, by the way, who's got this MAGA position on the southern border invasion.
There are people who have come here legally. Why do they get pushed aside to allow people who have not even worked one day in our country, have not paid into the system?
I took my brisket and mac and cheese with me to catch Ken Lasker with a to-go order. How closely are you watching this election?
Oh, very closely.
He was the only Harris supporter we met at lunch, even though Washoe County has historically been pretty politically split.
Wow. They found one Kamala Harris supporter. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. One Kamala Harris supporter at a crowded restaurant, an overcrowded restaurant. Every table, every seat was filled. They found one Kamala Harris supporter. Yeah, but she's ahead in the polls, right? Exactly. Yeah, it was beautiful. It's beautiful. They're getting creamed. Now, Maria Bartiromo on Fox Business, she did some research. They said that, Trump doesn't have that kind of protection. He's not the sitting president. Well, listen to what Maria Bartiromo on Fox Business found out.
What a complete joke, Liz Peek. Give me a break. They're over there on MSNBC having an entire conversation about toning down the rhetoric of Trump. He just had 2 assassination attempts on his life as they're calling him Hitler and everything else.
Yeah, it's really despicable. They're blaming Trump effectively for an attempt on Trump's life, Maria. It doesn't get stupider than that.
That's true. That's true. They're blaming Trump for an attempt on his own life. That is pretty stupid. And then Bartiromo picks up on something. Listen.
Despicable. They're blaming Trump effectively for an attempt on Trump's life, Maria. It doesn't get stupider than that or more vile.
Yeah, and I just want to point out this. According to the Secret Service, the golf course yesterday was not fully secured because, quote, Trump is not a sitting president. Oh, really? Let's take a look at the kind of security President Obama has. Since he's no longer a sitting president, we've got pictures here of President Obama's golf course in Martha's Vineyard. Secret Service inspects every vehicle when they even drive near the course, Cheryl. So what's the answer? He's not a sitting president, yet the golf course that he's on is incredibly secure?
All of these questions should be answered because remember, in the fiscal 2025 budget that has been proposed, there is a budget increase again for the Secret Service. And I think that this all goes up to the top, and that is Secretary Mayorkas, Marie.
Yeah. See, yeah, that's exactly right. Obama's got, who has no threats, and he was president longer ago, has a full Secret Service detail like he's supposed to have. But President Trump, who got shot 2 months ago, he doesn't. Come on. Everybody knows. Everyone knows what's going on here. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Oh, my goodness. So, this is a clip of Joy Reid. It's from a little while back. She's got the Trump wig on. But listen to this.
Our American idiot, Donald John Trump, a third-rate real estate developer from Queens.
A third-rate real estate developer from Queens? What is this? The script for the trailer of that Trump-hating movie that they're having coming out that I'll never see?
Our American idiot, Donald John Trump, a third-rate real estate developer from Queens who was desperate to break into the big leagues in Manhattan and to be respected by the blue-heeled elites he so claims to despise.
I mean, you could just, the venom with Joy Reid. I mean, she is just consumed with just this poisonous venom. But anyway, she's getting to a point.
First appeared on the Soviet Union's radar in 1977.
Hear this? So what she is saying here, Joy Reid, is that not only is he a Russian asset, he was recruited in 1977 by the Soviets.
When he married his first wife, Ivana Zelnikova, a Czech model.
Oh, my goodness.
And he allegedly became the target of a spying operation overseen by Czechoslovakia's intelligence service in cooperation with the KGB. 3 years later, he opened his first...
Ivana Trump was a KGB honeypot. You know, like Fang Fang. Oh, my goodness.
Big property development in New York, the Grand Hyatt, buying 200 television sets from a Soviet emigre and KGB asset who co-owned an electronics shop on Fifth Avenue.
So he buys TVs for the hotel rooms in his building, and they say he bought them from the Soviet Union. This woman is insane. This has got to be like the treatment for that new movie, that Trump-hating movie that's coming out.
The asset befriended Trump and got in the habit of flattering him. In 1987, Donald and Ivana visited Russia, pumped full of talking points that the operative reportedly fed him by stoking his ego and telling him he should go into politics. To understand how to exploit our American idiot, the Soviets studied his personality. Word started to spread that our American idiot might run for the Republican nomination for president in 1988. And shortly after he returned from Moscow, he took a full-page ad out in the New York Times declaring that there's nothing wrong with America's foreign policy that a little backbone can't cure. It took the form of an open letter to the American people on why America should stop paying to defend countries that can afford to defend themselves.
See, Trump, you know, one thing that's really amazing about Trump, you go back to the 80s, to these old interviews in the 80s, he was saying the same thing. He was saying NATO needs to pay their own way instead of us paying them. And this is, and they're saying because he wants the NATO countries to pay for their own defense, that he's a Soviet asset. Is Joy Reid the screenwriter for that new movie?
The ad criticized Ronald Reagan's foreign policy and implied skepticism about U.S. participation in NATO. The night it first ran, he went on CNN and was asked about NATO.
So this is 1987. President Trump, 1987. I'm assuming this is Larry King Live.
There are many other countries and taking tremendous advantage of this, including NATO. If you look at the payments that we're making to NATO, they're totally disproportionate with everybody else's, and it's ridiculous.
That's amazing. 1987, I was 16 years old. He's saying the same thing about NATO then that he's saying now. This is beautiful.
Fast forward to 2016, that American idiot, Donald John Trump, actually became president, due almost entirely to his celebrity as a former reality TV star on NBC. And now, as an ex-president, having committed serial crimes before, during, and after his presidency, including fomenting an attempted coup to try to remain in office after losing his bid for re-election because of how incompetent he was as president, that Donald John Trump is still peddling those same pro-Russia talking points.
Now, I forgot who this was. My wife's in the chat. I forgot who this was. Who interviewed President Trump yesterday about January 6th? I forgot who it was. Someone interviewed President Trump a few days ago, and they said that they were talking about all this nonsense that he led and organized an insurrection, and they told him that if he wanted an insurrection, it would have called on people to do it. He didn't do it. In fact, he said just the opposite. He says, go home. Go home. He said, protest peacefully. Dinesh D'Souza, that's right, Dinesh D'Souza. Dinesh D'Souza was interviewing Trump and said to Trump that if you'd have called on people to take up arms and lead an insurrection, they would have done it, and he didn't do it. Yeah, it's in D'Souza's new movie. Of course he didn't do it. In fact, he said, protest peacefully, 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 peacefully. And then after they let them in, he said, leave.
Talking points so perfectly aligned with the Kremlin. It's almost as if he was still receiving them from Moscow. Russia helped get Donald Trump elected in 2016, according to the Mueller report, by exploiting American social and racial divisions and amplifying them online, and by stealing Hillary Clinton's emails and exploiting the news media's voracious interest in them. And former KGB spy Vladimir Putin, who has been dictator of Russia in one way or another for nearly 25 years, is getting bolder and more blatant in his determination to subordinate the United States to him, to rebuild the Soviet Union by annexing Ukraine, which he lectured another American idiot, Tucker Carlson, belongs to Russia, and by openly jailing and killing his opposition with impunity, the latest victim being Alexei Navalny. While Trump leads one of our...
Meanwhile, that was the leader of the Russian opposition to Putin. Meanwhile, they're trying to put the leader of their political opposition, Donald Trump, in prison.
Two major political parties, with his fellow Republicans parroting Russian talking points to the point where it's almost parody.
Okay. Now, the reason I played that, that's crazy. The reason I played that is that's what's been going on in this country for the last, 9 years since President Trump came down the escalator. They've been doing nothing but brainwashing Democrats who watch their news, read their vlogs and all this stuff, blogs, that he is a Russian spy, that he's Hitler, it's the end of democracy, he's this, he's that, he's all these things, he's an enemy, he's a threat, and they are inciting this violence against him. They're inciting this violence against him. And when you are a public person and a broadcaster, because I'm that, I'm a broadcaster, you do not have the freedom of speech to use that speech to incite violence against others. And what they do is nonstop incitement of violence. And it's well beyond anything that's normal. And it's been going on for years, almost 10 years. So you've got a lot of people like this assassin here at the golf course, who was in that BlackRock video, just like the Pennsylvania assassin. They've been hearing for almost 10 years that Trump's a spy, he's a Soviet agent, he works for Putin, he's a Nazi, he's a white nationalist, the country will be over, democracy will end with him, all these things. That has an effect. There's a cause and effect, and they're causing it. And it's irresponsible, and it's well over the lines of the free speech protections, because they are literally inciting violence. It's pretty bad. Now, this was I love this guy, Tommy Tuberville, today on Fox Business.
They're trying to kill the only guy that has a chance to get this fixed, and of course, President Biden. I don't know who's running our country, but somebody needs to step to the plate and at least act like you care about a Republican candidate. But they truly don't. They could care less. There needs to be SEAL teams. There needs to be military. Larry, I don't know what these people are thinking. And, of course, Chuck Schumer and McConnell and all these people up here are running around with all kind of security in Washington, D.C., and the one man that we need to protect his life is Donald Trump, and they refuse to do it.
Yeah, they act like they don't have enough money. The government has nothing but money. They have unlimited amounts of money. I know it's completely insane. Now, the new star, though, on CNN, who's really good, is Scott Jennings. Scott Jennings, I'm shocked that CNN keeps him on. He is very good. He's always calling these monsters out. This is, well, just let me just play it. This is Scott Jennings on CNN with this panel of Trump derangement syndrome, fake news jerks.
But I do think it's important when we think about this story. All weekend long, we were told that what Trump and Vance were doing, they were directly responsible for these bomb threats and whatever. Today, in case you missed it, the governor of Ohio said the bomb threats were hoaxes and they were coming in from overseas. And he said, quote, many of these threats...
Now, when Scott Jennings is saying this, you can see the other people on the panel. They are pissed off that he's debunking their lie. And what Jennings is really doing here is reprimanding them, and they are pissed.
Important when we think about this story. All weekend long, we were told that what Trump and Vance were doing, they were directly responsible for these bomb threats and whatever. Today, in case you missed it, the governor of Ohio said the bomb threats were hoaxes and they were coming in from overseas. And he said, quote, many of these threats are coming in from overseas, made by those who want to fuel the current discord surrounding Springfield. So all weekend long, J.D. Vance and Trump, but specifically Vance, were directly blamed for putting people in harm's way. Today, the governor says they're coming from overseas, and I mean, we could start the apology line tonight on the show, but the governor says it's overseas, and it's not this supposed MAGA radicalized
Maybe
army.
instead of talking to the governor, you should talk about the Haitian immigrant community in Springfield that is being menaced by these people. There have been reports that these people cannot send their children to school. There have been reports of property damage. One of the Haitian newspaper has shut down as they have been under threat. Maybe you should talk to Haitians instead of Governor Mike DeWitt, who has been part and parcel of some of the lies and attacks against the Haitian community. We just had a whole segment, Scott, where you proudly said that people should tone down the rhetoric and that we need to take personal responsibility for the things we say. Well, here we have an example of stochastic terrorism against a vulnerable immigrant community, which does not have Secret Service protection, Scott.
Well, President Trump doesn't have very good protection either. He's been shot. And a guy with an AK-47 had it pointed at him on Sunday. But it's Trump and J.D. Vance that are the violent ones. These people, they'll never understand it. They'll never understand it. Now, if you are new to, totally change the subject. And notice the Democrats always worried about the illegals. They're never worried about the Americans. Right? Never worried about the Americans. They keep talking about all these jobs that Haitians are so good at in Ohio. Unemployment's high in that town. Why are the Haitians getting the jobs and not the Americans in Ohio, by the way? Now, if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, okay? This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you love Trump, you'll love this channel. If you don't love Trump, subscribe anyway. You will get red-pilled and join the Trump train soon, I promise you. And everyone who's already subscribed, please do me the favor of liking the video. And if you'd like to support my channel, click my MyPillow link at the top of the chat. It's also in the description of the video. There's an exclusive sale available only on my MyPillow site. The blowout sale for the MyPillow, it's just $14.98 with my promo code Kane at checkout. Just $14.98. $35 off the standard MyPillow. This is the MyPillow that started it all, and I have these pillows. They are spectacular. Just $14.98, the lowest price ever on the MyPillow. And every time you use my promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, you're supporting my channel and all my content. So thank you so much for doing that. All right, guys, my name's Brian. Thanks for watching.